In 2015, I started my first business. It was called the Steep Club. Every month, customers would receive 4 hand-picked varieties of tea delivered in the mail. I sourced the tea, built my own website, produced my own marketing materials, figured out the distribution, and more or less bootstrapped everything from scratch. I was 21 at the time and in my 3rd year of university. So I did all of this in my spare time. And the coolest thing about this business was, it sucked. It went absolutely nowhere. A big F. Failure. Why was that a cool thing? Well, I believe that there are 2 main teachers in life: success and failure. And the tuition that I received from that failure would ultimately lead to my success in my future current business. For context, my current business is a YouTube channel, which is really just another term for an independent media provider. That's what the actual business of being a YouTuber really is. And if you're curious about what I mean by that and want to know more about these seemingly new businesses these days, you can check out a previous video I did on this topic. So my current business was able to pull almost 200K in its 2nd year of operation with basically little to no expenses and only 1 employee. Me. The reason that I wanted to make today's video is to basically open source everything that I have learned in the past 7 years of attempting entrepreneurship and running what I currently perceive to be a decently successful business. Now, I am not a millionaire. I don't run some super successful startup. I still have a lot to learn myself. But I'm ahead of where I once was. And my hope with this video is to be able to speak to my 21-year-old self from where I am today. If you've looked into starting a business at all, then you've probably seen the phrase thrown around that a huge percentage of businesses fail within their first 5 years. Worse than that, at the end of a decade, only something like 30% of businesses will actually survive. Hearing that, you might think, well, why would I even start a business? Like, those odds are so bad, I'm never gonna make it. But I think that's the wrong conclusion to draw from this, and that's because I really believe that just because your business fails doesn't mean that you fail. First of all, let's say you're operating your business for the first 4 years and it's making some money, and you're regularly pulling some of this money out through either dividends or a salary that you pay yourself. And then in year 5, your business happens to go under. The business may have ultimately failed here, but if you continuously de-risked throughout this entire process by pulling money out of the business, you can still come out ahead. Very ahead. Secondly, the cost of business failure is just the price of tuition. Starting a business is one of the most challenging and rewarding things you could do because it very obviously reveals to you your own strengths and weaknesses. If you can swallow your ego and your pride, failing in business is one of the most enlightening experiences I think you can go through. When the Steep Club failed, I realized that I had actually made a huge, glaring mistake. A mistake that most businesses make. According to a survey by CB Insights, 42% of businesses fail because there is no need or no market demand for their product or service. Was there really that much demand for a monthly subscription tea service? I mean, yeah, I'm sure there was, like there was maybe some out there, and I'm sure more people could have been convinced through really good marketing, but it's not a starving market. It's not this market that has this like severe unmet need. So I actually have a business degree, and while I was getting my degree, I took courses on starting your own business. I spoke to professors who were running their own businesses. I have a bunch of friends who are running their own businesses, but sometimes those really obvious things just don't click for some reason until you actually make that mistake yourself. And that super obvious thing, that super obvious mistake I made, I think is kind of the golden rule of business. Like, it should be your North Star when operating your business. A business exists to serve a need or solve a problem. The Steep Club was not doing this. My YouTube channel is doing this. So when you think about your business, if you have one, or if you're thinking of starting one, can you claim the affirmative to that statement confidently? Furthermore, that statement connects us with something very important. It connects us with our market. Essentially, the statement is asking, is there an actual hungry market for what I am proposing? If the answer is no, you may want to go back to the drawing board because you don't want to be that 42% statistic. If the answer is yes, though, then I think it's time to dive in and look around. Okay, let's try something fun here as an example because I think it actually is a great example. I'm going to use today's sponsor, Neo, to show you how starting with a healthy market and then differentiating yourself can lead to success in business. We're gonna kill two birds with one stone here. Neo's business brilliance will basically market themselves to you, and they'll provide me with a great example here at the same time. So Neo is a financial services company in Canada that basically has a credit card and a savings account. Now, right off the bat, that doesn't sound too groundbreaking, right? There's plenty of those. But what Neo has done is actually very, very smart, and it's the reason why I use them for both a credit card and a savings account. So let me ask you a question. If a saver was looking to put their money into a high interest savings account, what do you think is the most important thing that saver will look for? Well, I think it's in the name. It's pretty obvious. They're looking for a high interest rate. So Neo did something super simple, but super effective. They just put their interest rate that they're offering ahead of the competition. It's currently at 1.3%. You'd be very hard pressed to find that anywhere else, and especially somewhere that offers that rate consistently. I think that is one of the most important factors for driving business their way. And that is one of the main reasons why I put my money in their high interest savings account. Next question. Now, what about credit cards? What do you think most people are looking for when they are looking for a credit card? Well, me being pretty immersed in this world, I think the two main things that people are consistently looking for is a high rewards rate of some type, whether that be cashback or travel points, and zero fees. And so can you guess what Neo has basically specifically done with their accounts? Yep. You guessed it, with their cashback credit card, they have an average cashback rate of 5% and zero fees. Once again, they've put themselves in a completely different league here. That's why, in addition to the excellent savings account, I use their excellent credit card. So that right there is basically a masterclass on how delivering such a strong value proposition allows you to thrive in a really competitive market. And in case you need a little icing on the cake of that value proposition, if you sign up for the credit card using my link in the description down below, you'll get $50 added to your account that you can spend basically right away once you're approved. And here's a little secret for you. So once you've got your account set up, you'll get your own referral link, which you can then use to refer your friends and family. And that initial $50 can turn into a whole lot more. So thank you to Neo for sponsoring this video, and thank you for providing me with an excellent example of a great value proposition. In the previous video that I mentioned earlier, I talked about this concept of an iceberg. In case you missed it, I'll quickly summarize it here, but if you want to see the whole thing, watch the video that pops up in the corner card thing, whatever. Basically, many people start businesses who are just this. They are just the tip. They don't have any actual foundation and meat below them, or I guess ice in this case, any ice below them. The point is, there isn't a foundation of work, knowledge, and experience there. This was me when I started the Steep Club, okay? I was not a tea expert. I had just started drinking it like a year or two prior to that. I was not immersed in tea culture or the tea market. I had virtually no competitive advantages when it came to tea. I might have had work ethic, the right mindset, and a lot of ambition, but that's just fuel for the rocket. It's not the rocket itself. So with no real experience or foundation below me, the Steep Club just kind of slipped into the sea. Now, 7 years into the future, I can confidently see myself as the whole thing with a heck of a lot of experience underneath me. So when you, an aspiring or current business owner, entrepreneur, whatever you want to call yourself, when you look at this idea, what do you see in yourself? And how do you think this relates to the business you're running or the business you want to start? So when I look at it, I kind of see it in layers. I see the foundation foundation as these skills that I've built up over many, many years. I started participating in financial markets at the age of 16. Like I said in my last video, I had to get my parents to actually sign a form so that I could open an account, because you had to be 18 to actually do it. I wasn't even legally allowed yet. So that's over a decade ago. And then since then, I went to university, so that's kind of the next layer on top of that, where I got some higher education on the subject. And then I had work experience that goes on top of that. And all the while throughout this entire process, I was also putting in countless hours of self-learning on the side, reading books, listening to things, studying the greatest investors of all time, and then actively participating in the financial markets by investing, trading, options, all this type of stuff. So this whole foundation basically translates into tangible skills like interpreting economics, macroeconomics, qualitative and quantitative equity valuation, derivatives, portfolio construction, financial planning. I mean, the list could go on and on and on. On top of that, I've built the necessary skills to be able to communicate this information to people. I've been writing for years, as well as doing photography and videography basically as well on the side. And now, after having made many, many videos, I think I've also been able to greatly refine my ability to speak. So if we think of this whole iceberg essentially more like a pyramid, the Steep Club, my first business, was missing the very bottom and most important layer. I didn't have that essential foundation that everything else is built on top of. So earlier I said I think that there's essentially two teachers in life, right? Success and failure. And I think that they each teach you different things. That to me also means that as long as you just keep doing stuff, no matter what that stuff is, you will continue to learn and grow. The only way you don't learn and grow is by cutting yourself off from success and failure altogether. And the way you do that is by doing nothing. So I guess one of my main messages to my 21-year-old self would be, hey man, what you're trying to do right now, it's gonna end up not working out. But I want you to still do it anyway. And I want you to pay very close attention to why it doesn't work, because that is going to reveal such important information to you that is going to lead to your future success. Oh, and also buy Bitcoin, a ton of it. Man, my life would be so much different right now. And with all that said, that's going to be it for today's video. But before you head out, don't forget, if you want a sick credit card, if you want 50 bucks, this is the place to get it. Sign up for Neo, refer your friends and family too, and get yourself something nice, you know? Treat yourself on me. It's not really on me, but I'll take a little bit of credit. Hope you found this video interesting. Thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you again soon.